Hi, this is Joe again with another review. And for the sake of this, excuse me, for the sake of this video, I'm going to do a review of the 1996 film Sleepers, starring Brad Pitt, Robert De Niro, Dustin Hoffman, Brad Renfro, and Minnie Driver. And of course, this movie had a hell of a cast, and it was also directed by Barry Levinson, who directed the Oscar-winning film Rain Man. And he also directed what I consider to be the greatest baseball movie of all time, The Natural. Those films I already previously reviewed, so check them out if you haven't seen them. For Sleepers, this movie is based on the 1995 book of the same name. And it's about four friends who grew up in the 1960s in Hell's Kitchen. And one particular day, they decided to pull a prank on the local hot dog vendor. Excuse me. When they get started coughing, they're going to stop. Anyway, they decided to pull a prank on the local hot dog vendor. As one of them will order a hot dog, and then, of course, as soon as the vendor's back is turned, they'll pay for it and run off. Well, not only that, but the vendor decided to chase this one kid down, while the other three decide to get as many hot dogs as they can with the vendor not being there. Well, they decided that since the hot dog vendor was taking a long time to come back, it was like a pretty long chase between the hot dog vendor and the one kid who swiped the hot dog or ordered the hot dog without paying for it. So they decided to extend the prank on the hot dog vendor by moving the hot dog court to, let's say, 2 blocks over, or that 2 or 3 blocks over. Then they decided to take another step further by holding it on top of a staircase that goes down to the subway. So they're holding it, and the three of them didn't have the combined strength to keep holding the cart there, and the cart slipped out of their hands because of the weight, and it's a big bulky thing, of course. And those of you who have seen a hot dog cart in New York City, it's a big, heavy thing, and the thing went down the steps and almost killed the guy who was coming up the steps and didn't know what hit him. It got squashed. The guy literally got squashed like a grape, literally. And all 4 kids went to, nowadays we would call them reform school. We went to a reformatory school for boys in upstate New York. And one of them, the one who just stole the hot dog, he got sentenced to only about like 6 months. 6 to 12 months sentence. The other one's got like about a year to a year and a half sentence. In this reform school. Well, during the time they were there, even though they were only there for as much as a year and a half, all 4 of them were getting brutally assaulted and raped. Yes, raped by. I'm not even talking about the other people who were in the other kids who were in the reform school, but from the guards of the reform school, were all raping them, assaulting them, beating them up, all kinds of abuse they were taking for the time they were there. And so the one kid who got out earlier by 6 months says, "Hey, maybe we should report what's going on. Since I'm getting out early before you guys do, I think we should report it." I said, "Yeah, but if you report it, we're still going to be here for at least the next 6 months. So imagine the abuse we're going to get for the next 6 months. Don't do it. If we're going to do it, at least do it after we get out." But they decided, all 4 of them decided not to do anything. Well, years later, over 20 years later, they happened to find 2 of them grew up to be gangsters, the local gangsters and thugs in the neighborhood. One of them grew up to be Brad Pitt, and who became a DA, or Manhattan DA, and the other one, it's called Shakes, became a low-level writer for the New York Daily News. So it's kind of like writes up the times, for movie times in the newspaper. But that's what they did. 2 of them were like got decent jobs. He's the Brad Pitt character did as a DA. The other one got like a crappy newspaper job with the Daily News. but at least they got out of the neighborhood. The other two stayed in the neighborhood and became thugs. And the two that became thugs saw one of the guards, I should mention, was played by Kevin Bacon from Footloose. At least the leader of the guard, of these group of guards. And he was the one who did the most of the abuse. And the other guards just ran along for the ride and followed his orders, pretty much. So, we saw this guy eating in a local restaurant in Hell's Kitchen, and the two of them had guns on them, and of course what they did was they shot him up and he looked like a piece of Swiss cheese, all the holes all over his body. Mm-hmm. And so of course the two guys, they get charged, of course, with killing the guard, of course. Yeah. And so Brad Pitt and the one that became a writer decided to have a little conspiracy theory going on, and Brad Pitt anyway insisted on prosecuting the case and to throw with the case. And of course, he needed the help of Robert De Niro's character. Now, Robert De Niro played the local priest who's been in the area for like 30 years or whatever, being the priest in Hell's Kitchen. And he says, look, I need you to go on the stand and to lie on the stand. He said, what do you mean lie? I'm a priest, I can't lie. He said, look, you know the abuse that we all took, and not only Brad Pitt, but the other character, Shakes, told the priest everything that happened when they were in the reform school. That they were abused, they were sexually assaulted, and to friends there, they saw the guard in the restaurant and they killed him. Or the guy who was leader of the guards, they killed him in this restaurant. So we need your help to get these two guys off. And he said, come on. So you know what you're asking me to do? You're asking me to lie on the oath. Swearing the gun and telling the truth in the courtroom, and you're asking me to lie. And he says, yeah, I know what I'm asking you, but I know you always stood up for us. You fought for us when we got into trouble, and now kids are in trouble. The guys are in trouble again, so we have to ask you for help again. He says, let me think about it. And of course, another part of the conspiracy theory is that Brad Pitt got a drunk lawyer to defend the two guys, and the guy was played by Dustin Hoffman, and it was really a small role for Dustin Hoffman. He played a drunk. He looked like he didn't know what the hell he was doing halfway through this movie. He was literally sleepwalking through this movie, Dustin Hoffman. I think he just did this role just for a paycheck, because he really did he played a really bad drunken lawyer. I tell you that right now. And the one thing they couldn't understand while watching this movie is why did their defenses, we were abused by this guy when we were in reform school, and we saw him in this restaurant, and we decided to kill him. But he abused us when we were kids in the reform school. I don't know why they never put that on as a defense. They said, "Oh, let's not go there. Let's not tell these two guys what we're going to do." And it's like, it was an interesting plot that they were going to throw the case to get these two guys off. But to me, I think it would be more interesting if they went straight and had like a straight criminal case where they put the prison guards on trial with the abuse. To me, it would have been a more interesting story instead of them trying to throw this case. And another thing is not bad. Another thing that Sleepers is a bad movie. I'm saying it will went a different way. I guess maybe you can try to be more accurate with the novel. I never read the book, but a little bit more interesting if they went after the prison guards. And eventually, of course, by the end of the film, the police and the DAs went after the three remaining guards. I think it was like 3 or 4 remaining guards who were responsible for the attacks in the reform school. They did do that by the end of the film, but should have done that a hell of a lot earlier, and it would have been, to me, a little bit better trial movie. But that's what they did, and Of course, the two guys got off, and big surprise, the two guys got off because they threw the case. The DA threw the case because he called one of the other guards as a character witness. He told us he was a great guy and all this stuff. And meanwhile, Brad Pitt was anonymously feeding Dustin Hoffman's character questions to ask these witnesses, so he can make the defense look better and the prosecution worse. And of course, all the questions came up when the abuse was going on, when the other security guard was testifying, and the judge says, "Hey, don't leave. You're going to pay. The police are going to pay you a visit very soon." And of course, he was arrested. The guard who testified in the trial was arrested. So was the other ones who were involved. And well, of course, what happened at the end of the film was that the two guys who were charged with murdering this other guard ended up dying. One was drank himself to death, and the other one was killed in a shootout with a drug dealer or something. The girl who was involved grew up to be Minnie Driver. She was a social worker and stayed in the neighborhood, and she had a kid, and she had a son. The character had a son, and she named him after all four guys. No, they never mentioned in the end of the movie whether Robert De Niro's character, if it was defrocked or for lying under oath or whatever, got into trouble. Because the alibi that that Robert De Niro gave was that the two of them were with me at the time in the Knicks game, and they have the tickets to prove it. And we have 3 ticket stubs for the Knicks game on the date that this guy was killed. So that's how they got off, basically. But I mean, I do like the movie. It's not the greatest movie I've ever seen, but it had a good story. And of course, the one negative part, which I mentioned already. Of course, they mentioned in this story, at the beginning of the movie, the narrator says, "Hey, this movie was based on a true story." Well, as far as I know, this movie was not based on a true story. The thing was made up, and it flashed at the bottom of the screen. In fact, on the screen in the end of the movie, all the names were all made up. They're all changed. It's kind of like a dragnet. All names were changed to protect the innocent. That type of thing in the end of the film. And well, for the most part, it's a good movie with a great cast. And this movie did get pretty good praise at the time it came out, but I think it got lost in the shuffle, because there was another popular trial movie that came out in the same year as Sleepers, which was A View to a Kill, which was more popular, made more money, and made a boatload more money than Sleepers did. But Sleeper was, excuse the pun, was a sleeper hit. Because of the cast and because of Brad Pitt, which was early, and his post Thelma and Louise role. And because he had Dustin Hoffman, he had 2 Oscar-winning actors in this movie, Dustin Hoffman and Robert De Niro, which makes it a damn good movie and a damn good director as well. So that's my review of Sleepers. Please click on the video, please rate it, feel free to comment on it, please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video to your Facebook pages. You can check out all my videos on my YouTube channel at rowdyc.com. It's OWDY, and then c.com. There's a homepage to the Valley Reviewer, Chris Lee Moore. And please check out all of his videos on his website as well. Thank you for watching, and catch you next time.